Hello, everybody. This is Paul Fisher coming live at you from Henderson, outside Las Vegas in Nevada, USA, on our 24/7 live broadcast system for the Billion Coin. It's a cryptocurrency that has been out for 2 years, and it is abundance-based. Abundance-based. What does that mean? That means that the price of our coin goes up every day and never goes down. It also means that it's not to be found on a trading exchange like Bitcoin and all the other cryptocurrencies that are out there, so that people can trade them and the price gets manipulated by the wealthy who comes in and buys a lot, raises the price up. People come in gambling in a sense, to make 10%, 20%, 40% on their money real quick as the price continues to go up, and then they sell. And then the wealthy dump when they get to a certain high price. They sell, and that starts a panic, and all the masses get scared that they're going to lose their investments, and so they sell. And their coins go back into the trading on the market. And when the price gets down low enough, the wealthy scoop those coins up for themselves. They start buying it all up again, raising the price in. People do the same thing. Oh, the price is going back up. Let's get in now. Let's buy a little bit. And they learn. Okay, so they'll go in for a little bit and pull out real fast, and they'll still make a little bit of a profit. But there's still always new people, right? There's always new people that come into the system, and they're learning about cryptocurrency, or they're learning about any kind of a market system, even the stock market. Okay, they'll learn a little bit about the stock market, and they'll say, I'd like to try that, Put a little money in, invest. Stocks go up, I pull it out. Okay. So this is what happens with all the other cryptocurrencies. The point is, it's based on the same old system where the wealthy get wealthier and the poor people get poorer. Okay? Because the wealthy eventually, after doing it over and over and over again, they end up with all the wealth. Okay? So they end up with all the coin. In this case, when we're talking about the coin markets, they end up with all the coin. So, bye-bye. So that's what happens, and it's not a good system, okay? It's not a good system at all. It really defeats the purpose of any kind of positiveness for the long term for what cryptocurrency can do. Okay, so why are we doing these 24/7 live broadcasts right now when we're already 2 years old? Here's why. It's because all the coins that came out in the past were all based on Bitcoin's blockchain platform. It's an old system. It's very limited. They can still only do 7 to 10 transactions per second, which is really slow, super slow. And when it got onto the trading exchanges, every time people started trading, that was a transaction. And it bogged down the whole system. And they had to create a hard fork, and create a new coin back in August. It got so bad that it was taking 5 minutes for a transaction, and it took an hour, and then 2 hours, and a day, 2 days, and then 2 weeks. It got crazy. Okay, well, guess what? Even us, the Billion Coin, who was not on a trading exchange, we had grown to the point at that point last year where we were doing enough peer-to-peer just within our own community that our system got bogged down. And it got so bad that we couldn't even transact there for a while. Okay, so we immediately started to build a blockchain platform 2.0. This thing will have the speed. Well, it has the speed. It's already been tested. We're migrating over to it in 2 days. That's today, the 28th. Yeah, and on the other side of the world, it's the 29th. So April 30th is when we start migrating over to this new Super Duty 2.0 blockchain platform that will do transactions as fast as MasterCard and Visa. Okay, just that quick. Right there at the cash register, you got your phone, you got a QR code, bam, you're done, you're out of there. Okay, thousands and thousands, hundreds of thousands per minute. Okay, and we could do it all over the world at the same time. This is a game changer, a huge game changer. Okay, think about it. Because we are not on a trading exchange, because our whole mission is different. The whole reason we came out with the Billion Coin was to eliminate global poverty. We had to keep some control. Okay, there's no community of Bitcoin users. If there is, nobody knows who's got Bitcoin. Whoever came up with Bitcoin, you know, supposedly calls himself Satoshi Nakamoto, which is just a fake name. He doesn't have control of the system. The miners, the independent miners who are mining and creating and spending all that time and effort, electricity cost to create a coin, they're working. That gives the coin value. That makes the coin money. But they don't have control in the sense that they don't even know how many people actually own Bitcoin. Okay, but they can get a close estimate just by looking at transactions and kind of keeping track amongst themselves, I guess, on what's going on with the trading exchanges. The trading exchanges could get together, and they believe the latest that there's 12 million people in the world that are using the Bitcoin. Okay, 12 million. That's all. Out of 7.5 billion people, 12 million are using the coin. The coin is only going to be mined 21 million coins. 21 million coins. That's all. Okay, so that's your supply and demand right there, plus the work of the miners gives it its monetary value. This is good. Okay, but the fact that it's on a trading exchange, a market exchange, is not good. If you hang on to your Bitcoin over the years, it's going to go up. Okay, that sense is good because of supply and demand. But trading, you have to really know what you're doing. Otherwise, you're going to lose. Now, we came out with a coin where we said, this is what we're going to do. We're going to create enough coins so that we can eliminate global poverty, period. Well, there's going to be enough coins for 7.5 billion people. Twice that much. Okay, more. Here's how we're going to do it. We're going to create a maximum of 1 billion coins. That's why we call it the Billion Coin. Okay, and we're going to base it on an algorithm based on membership. We're going to form a community. Okay, and we're going to know who has our coin. And we're going to be able to keep track. Now, the decentralized part of it, of course, is the blockchain platform. It's private, completely private. Okay, all you can see is transactions, just like the Bitcoin, just like everybody else. All you can see is transactions going from one person to another, but you don't know who those people are. There's just nothing there. Just a long transaction number with, you know, letters and numbers. You know, you can create a zillion of those, zillions and zillions of those. Okay, and that's why you can create zillions and zillions of wallet addresses. Okay, so those of you who know about cryptocurrency know what I'm talking about. If you're new, then that's how the system works. So we created a community where we were going to have partial control, the best of both worlds. This way, we don't just come out with a coin like everyone else and say, here it is, guys, we're going to put it on the trading exchange, so come and buy it, you know, with our ICO, our initial coin offering, and it's going to double as soon as we put it on the trading exchange, which it usually does. Okay, and then after that, you don't know what it's going to do. And of course, if you don't do your homework, an ICO could be a complete scam. So again, we're not like that at all. We designed our coin to be the first coin to be used all over the world by everyone. Okay, we are in control to the point where we can spread out the wealth. We can manage the wealth that we're creating among the people. You can't just come in and be a billionaire and say, I'm going to buy up all this billion coin as much as I can. The rich can't come in and buy it all up and manipulate it. It's impossible. We just don't allow it. Okay. So what we're doing is we're creating our first distribution phase that we are creating is our first million billionaires. Okay. So right now we're giving anyone who finds out through these videos, okay, peer to peer, people talking to people. We have 3 million members after 2 years. And that was when we were on the slow platform. Now we're moving over to this super fast, super efficient, unbelievable blockchain platform that's going to change the entire cryptocurrency industry. That's what you want to call it, an industry. And we're going to blow right past that 12 million of Bitcoin members. We're just going to blow them right past. Okay, think about it. If we did 30 times growth between first year, we had 100,000 to 3 million by our second year during an unbelievably slow year because of the blockchain problems. What do you think we're going to do if we just did the same? If we just went up by 30 times 3 million, we'll be at 85 million, right? 85 million people will have our own economy worldwide, which is 85 million. And we're going to go to a billion. Our first billion will max out the price of the coin. And we'll go, obviously, we'll have enough Pringles. That's what we call pieces of our coin for the rest of the entire population of the world. To be wealthy, to be okay, to be secure, to have no poverty. We will be able to do anything we want to do. We, the people, okay? We won't have to rely on the government, excuse me, or anyone else to help us. We will be in an abundance-based society, a community. Okay, that's why we're doing these videos now, because we are now in a position where we're going to start migration in 2 days. We're going to extend that period out 90 days till July 31st, and to bring all of our 3 million people over, make sure as many of them can come over as can. And because a lot of people got in, months ago, even back in the beginning, 2 years ago, who have just kind of forgotten about the billion coin. It was back then when prices were real low and cheap, and they just didn't stick around, and they didn't read the blogs. They didn't stay on top of things. So we've got to have time to contact them and say, hey, look at your wallet, see what it's worth. Do you want to hang on to that? Okay, come over and migrate. And now we have a $10 one-time, well, it's not a one-time fee. We have a $10 annual fee because now, we didn't back then, now we have a back office that tracks everything. Why? Because admin got to the point where, okay, now folks, we've got enough of you as our community. Now we can start giving the coin out for free. Why? Because our algorithm is based on members. So each new member that comes in and gets the free coin raises the price, the value of our TBC coin by €1. So in other words, right now we have 3 million members. And so our coin is worth 3 million euros. Okay, the problem has been the last 2 years that we're comparing our cryptocurrency money to a fiat system, the euro or the US dollar. These are fiat currencies, they're not money, okay? And the world is fed up with fiat currency. They're fed up with being enslaved. They're fed up with being controlled. They're fed up with struggling financially and all the problems that causes. They're fed up with poverty. They're fed up with crime based on lack, okay? And they're getting rid of that system, okay? We've got to go back on to a gold-based system, or silver, or platinum, something that's worth value. Every country will figure out what they have as a resource, whether it's oil, whether it's just land, whether it's a mineral, a valuable mineral like gold or silver, and they will create a cryptocurrency that will be able to be exchanged everywhere in the world. Okay, just like every country now has a fiat system. There's the ruble, there's the yen, there's the won, there's the mark, there's the euro, there's the US dollar, on and on and on. Okay, that's great. We're just trading them all, mixing them up, whatever. Okay, it doesn't stop anything. Money doesn't compete against money, so the more the better. Cryptocurrency, same thing, the more the better. But we are the only one that's abundance based. Okay, there's another one that is finally seeing the light, and they are on an algorithm, and at least with their ICO, they're on an algorithm. And if they stay on the algorithm after their ICO, then they will be just like us. Okay, and so that validates what we're doing. Okay, so we decided we've got to get off the euro and the US dollar and go to something that's real. So we're switching over to gold in 2 days. So as soon as we start migration, we're not going to be talking about our value based on euros. In other words, our initial still is our first billion will max out the coin. Whatever the price is, whatever we base it on, it'll be maxed out at our first billion members. That's why we call it the billion coin. Okay, and when we had it on the euros, which it will still be for another 2 days, if we had 1 billion people right now who had the coin, it would be worth one coin would be worth 1 billion euros. Obviously, that would 2 billion in US dollars. US dollars are not worth as much as euros. But the point is, why are we basing it on paper money, paper currency that we need to crash it, okay? And that's what we're doing. That's what all the other countries are doing. Just look around, that's what they're doing, right? And because they're tied, controlled, central banking systems and their deep state operatives with the intelligence communities trying to control everything. They buy out our politicians, they buy out the corporate media, they tell us what they want us to know, it's what they want them to know. They care about humanity. They just care about votes, and they care about controlling people. Okay, and here in the United States, we've got a new president. He's not a politician. He's not bought. He couldn't be bought. He's a businessman and a deal maker. And I say this every time I'm on, that he is behind the scenes creating peace throughout the world in ways that I have never seen anybody in my lifetime. I've never seen anybody in history in America do what he's doing right now. And you can't see it unless you know, unless you stay on top of what's going on, which is so easy in a sense to do now that we've got computers that are as advanced as they are now, in systems and social media and all these other things that have made things so easy. Okay, so that is what we are. We are the billion coin. Pieces of our billion coin are called Kringles. Now our billion coin is so valuable right now. It's over 3 million in euros because we have 3 million members, and it's only going to go up every day until it gets to 1 billion euros. But guess what? We're eliminating the euro system. We're basing it all on gold now. Okay? Gold is real. Gold is money. Gold is valuable. Why are we comparing our cryptocurrency to fiat currency, fiat paper money? Okay? So from now on, instead of one person coming in and being worth €1 in the price of our coin, From now on, every person that comes into the community will be worth 1 grain of gold. Okay, grain is the smallest measurement of gold. It's even smaller than a gram of gold. Okay, in fact, it takes 480 grains of gold to equal 1 troy ounce of gold. Okay, so now every person is going to be worth 1 grain. It's going to raise the price of our coin by 1 grain of gold. So what does that do? Well, you have to know what the price of gold is, right? The price of gold right now is a little over $1,000, whatever it is. I haven't looked at it for a few days. But the point is, a grain of gold is worth 2.6 or 2.7 euros. So probably close to $3 USD instead of $1.40. That's an instant raise in the value of our coin that every one of us now is going to have. They're going to see that. Okay. We're all getting a raise by over 2 times what the value of our coin was going to be before, based on euros and US dollars. Now that it's based on gold, it's going to go. In other words, if we had 3 million, we do have 3 million people. So it's 3 million euros, right? Well, in 2 days, that 3 million will go to 7 million. Our coin will be worth 7 million. So that's why from now on, we are going to talk more about Kringles. Okay, we're just going to start calling our TBC, our billion coin, Kringles. You know, like Satoshi is a division of Bitcoin, and people talk about the Bitcoin all the time, but they should start talking about Satoshi, because Bitcoin's up there over $8,000, $9,000 yesterday. You know, it's not real easy for people to buy a whole Bitcoin right now at $9,000. It's certainly almost impossible for anyone to buy a full coin of TBC. But see, we're still giving out full coins, and we're not charging people $3 million in euros. Okay. We have ways through promotions to distribute that wealth out equally. Okay, we're not in the business of gouging and making money or making currency. We're in the business of being a solution to the entire world's poverty condition and slave condition. Okay, we have a completely different mindset than what we have all been raised with this scarcity mindset. We have an abundant mindset. Okay, I just realized, or just remembered, and I think I've got access to my chat. Hi guys. You know, there's an Amen Lock and a Diana Gordon. Thank you guys so much for hanging in there with me. I know you probably got to go pretty soon. I'm probably going to go over. I don't think there's anybody coming on until 6 is when Dan Lutz comes on today. He usually comes on at 7, but I think he's scheduled for 6, or maybe that was yesterday. I always get confused because he's a day ahead of us, because he's over at the Philippines. Okay, but I don't see any questions here, so I'm going to go back. Okay. So yeah, we're a solution. We're not out to gouge anybody. It's like we didn't charge anybody for transactions last year. Okay. I mean, every time you do a transaction with any other cryptocurrency, the miners charge you a fee, whether it's 3 cents or whether it's $30. Okay. They charge you a fee. And then there's fees if you're using, you know, a marketing system, a trading exchange. They charge a fee too. Okay. So we don't do that. We don't do that. That's not what we're in business for. It's not even a business. The business is distribution of the coin, right? Because the more people we get the coin out to and get in their hands, then the more value our coin is. And the more people are going to say, I want that coin, because guess what? It never goes down in value, it goes up. Okay, I can have confidence in the Kringle coin where I can't have confidence in the Satoshi coin because it goes up and down in price every day. If I'm in business, how can I take Satoshi Bitcoin unless I'm just going to sit on it because I know over time it's got to go up? Okay, but there's still going to be a problem with it because if it remains on the trading exchange and the owner has no control anymore, it's all in the miner's hands. How can you change that system? You'd have to create a brand new coin with a brand new blockchain, 2.0, just like ours. Okay. So, and the more the better, all the coins that people want to come up with, spend the money. Okay. Our creator, who calls himself Kris Kringle, Santa Claus, because he's giving the gift out, he's completely self-funded. Okay. He's not asking and never has asked any of us for money. Okay. So it started out where he gave the coin away for like nothing, hardly any money whatsoever. And then he went forward, got the system going, and then created a way to first get rid of discounters, people who would just discount the coin. That was going to ruin the coin. So he took control of the wallet system, full control. And that was a good thing, a very good thing. Okay. And then he started building a new blockchain platform. And so we're set, guys. We're set. So those of you who see this video on my channel and are watching, we have a solution rather than just an option. We're not an option. We're a solution. There's a huge difference. Yes, we are an option too. But on top of being an option like these other cryptocurrencies, we are a solution to all financial problems in the world. And it's hard to take in because we've been so brainwashed into lack, scarcity. I got to get out there and get mine from you. You got it, I got to get it. What can I sell you? What can I come up with that I know you want? I got to make some money. I got to take care of myself. I got to take care of my family. Okay? And there's so many people that aren't even in a position to take care of themselves, much less their family, because they've got health problems. Who's taking care of them? When people are out there struggling to take care of themselves and their families, how can they take care of themselves and their families? They can barely take care of themselves. Okay? It's bad. The economy, look around and you'll see that it's bad. Even though you're hearing from the elite, oh, everything's great. Oh, we're on top of this economy. It is great. It looks great for the next 10 years. Come on, people. We're seeing a worse condition than it was in 2006, 2007, before the bubble bursted in 2008. And people by the hundreds of thousands lost their retirement because all of it was based on the stock market. Don't let that happen to you again. Have a little gold, have a little silver, have a little fiat cash because, like I said, like I always say, if the banks close and they have a bank holiday, they're not going to let you get your money. If you're lucky to have $300-400 a week. But if you need more than that to live on, you're out of luck. Because I don't care how much money you got in there, they're going to write you a little note saying, we need this money to rebuild the system. We're going to borrow it. We're going to give you an IOU. Okay. You think they're ever going to pay us back? No. Okay, so we're crashing the system. It has to crash no matter what. To be in control of that. Trump and Patriots want to be in control of that. Trump and Patriots are 2 steps ahead. We're going to stay in control. We've kicked them out of North Korea. We are making peace like you have never seen. Is the corporate media blasting it out there? Hey, man, this is history making. North Korea, Kim Jong-un stepped over into South Korea for the first time in, 60-something years? I don't know, since 1948. No leader has come across that zone. And guess what? Moon stepped back over. It's like, did you watch the thing on ABC? They were filming the whole thing. Kim comes down the steps, comes over to where there's a little piece of cement there that's like a step, and he steps over it into South Korea. And Moon is right there. They shake hands, right? And so then you see him say to Moon, you see Kim say to Moon, hey, I just stepped into South Korea. Why don't you, step into North Korea? And Moon says, oh, I'm sure I will, He goes, right on, right now, because we're right there. Okay, so Moon stepped right over. They both stepped right over back into North Korea. And they laughed about it. And then he comes over and they spend all this time talking by themselves. And peace is coming. The war is over. Okay, they're going to sign that war over by the end of the year. They promised to do it. They're talking denuclearization. Yeah, the corporate media is freaking out. Corporate media is mad because the elite who owns them are really upset over the fact that they've lost control over that entire situation. They couldn't create a war. They couldn't keep a war going, which is what they do. They wanted to bring us into World War III with Korea and Russia. Not going to happen. No. Okay? Russia has different ideas. Russia is about peace, believe it or not. Even China. Have you ever seen China really in a war? They got their butts kicked by the Japanese in World War II. It was just horrendous what the Japanese did to the Chinese people in World War II. So, but the elite took control of that situation, took advantage of it, and turned China over to a communist country after World War II. It's all there in history. Just look it up. And so this is a situation that's going on. China is still a communist country, and yet they're helping North Korea and South Korea come together and unite and possibly become a completely denuclearized peninsula. Okay? When has that happened? Under what president has that ever happened? Only under our current president, people. Because he's not a politician, he's not controlled by the elite. And neither are the patriots. Not just in this country, but in all countries. Especially in a completely Christian country like Russia. But the elite want Russia to be the enemy because they hate Russia. Why? Because Russia has kicked them out. Okay? They kicked them out and they don't use the US dollar anymore. And more countries are following suit. Okay? The US dollar is no longer the reserve currency of the world. For the first time in I don't know how long. It's no longer the reserve currency. What does that tell you? That should tell you right there there's something going on. It's not good for the US dollar / Federal Reserve note. Okay? So there will be a crash. There will be a transition. Okay? Under Trump and Patriots, it'll be a soft transition. It'll be no worse than what we saw in 1971 when Nixon took us off the gold standard completely. And we saw, it went from a gold-backed currency to the petrodollar. And then it came out and told us there was no gas. And we were in gas lines, and we could only go fill up our tanks, on certain days. You remember how it was. And then the system brought out this credit. Hey, check this out. We're going to give you guys credit. We're going to give you a little card. I think it was called MasterCharge. And then eventually Visa came out and it switched over to MasterCard. And everybody's, oh my gosh, it was great. The late 70s were great. The 80s under Reagan was great. Okay. But we didn't realize we were being suckered into debt. Okay. So we started to feel it in the 90s. We started to realize we've been had. Those who were real smart took advantage of the debt-based system and made a lot of money. Okay, because you can make money with credit if you know how. Most people don't. Okay, just like most people right now still don't know what cryptocurrency is. And so because we're right here at the point where we're going to explode in our membership because of our new blockchain platform and the fact that our coin goes up in value, never goes down. And because people have been around cryptocurrency long enough that they're understanding how it works. that that we're just going to explode, and we need to get the information out to you. So we're doing 24/7 videos, which just means in a 24-hour period, we're dividing that up into half-hour slots. Now, I started at 5. It's way past my time, but I don't think there was anybody coming after me until 6. Okay, and you can always go and listen to the next person. But the point is, we're trying to get all 48 slots out of a 24-hour period filled up so that people are on there every half hour live. Now, you can go watch their videos afterwards because they're always going to be on their YouTube channels. You just go on the billion coin.info. That's our main site, thebillioncoin.info. And you'll see it down below in the description of this video. Go on there and look up at the tabs where it says broadcast on the right side. And yeah, on the right side. And you'll click on that and you'll get a schedule and you'll be able to see who's on, if there's anybody on, whatever time you want to watch, and click on and just start watching. Because that's a way to get educated in what is going on with us, the Kringle coin. Okay, we're going to start calling ourselves the Kringle coin because we're just so high in our price with the billion coin. But we got to explain what that is so people understand. And yes, you can still get a full billion coin. And you can get it for as low as $100, and we'll give you what we call cookie rewards. Cookie rewards, 100 million cookie rewards, which you can redeem in a redemption period. That would be a whole month, and we're having our second one May 1st. For the whole month of May, you can redeem any cookie rewards you have through a purchase of $100, or if you give the gift away to 100 people, we'll give you 10 coins. Okay, 10 coins, 10 coins, full billion coins. We'll give them to you for free. No money, no fiat currency, and you won't be making any purchases from admin, okay? You'll be making purchases from other members. Just like if you want billion coin, you gotta find somebody else with billion coin and make a purchase from them, okay? Or use a trading exchange. With us, you gotta buy it from some other member of our community that has enough coin that they're selling, or has enough Kringle that they're selling. $100 is worth 100 million cookie rewards, which can be redeemed in the redemption period like May. It's coming up for 100 million Kringles deposited into your wallet. That's real cryptocurrency. It's worth one full billion coin. Okay, which right now, which will be May 1st on, or even April 30th on, will be worth 7 million, equal to 7 million euros. Okay, because it will be based on gold, a grain of gold. Okay, so $7 million worth of gold. That's a better way to look at it, right? Because even though we put in that word dollars, you know what I'm talking about. Okay. So it just makes sense to use the word gold and to put our system onto the gold system rather than base it on a fiat currency that may not be around for much longer, especially the euro. The European Union is just falling apart. So yeah, you can get a full coin. And the reason why, you're probably thinking, well, that must be a scam. You know, they're just selling the coin at discount. No, we're not. This comes from admin. This is a very special thing. A very special thing. And we're doing it on purpose to spread the wealth out. Okay? Because you can buy very much Kringles for $100 now because the price is so high. So how is that going to make you a billionaire? Okay? Those of you who may have gotten the gift like a year ago when we first started out with giving the gift away, we were giving out 100,000 Kringles. Now, if you just never bought any more and just hung on to that, That, when it maxes out, will be worth, well, it was going to be worth 1 billion in euros. In gold, it will be worth almost 3 billion. Does that make sense? I'll get better at this. I'm new to grains of gold and the pricing and all that. But yeah, so you can't buy much kringles. So how, are the people that got in at the beginning, are they the big winners? With their thousands of coins they were able to buy at dirt cheap price? Are they the ones that are going to control the world because they're going to have all the money? No. We've managed it. Okay, trust us, we've managed it. We are a community. Okay, and we police ourselves. We have our own police. Not the kind of police with guns, okay? Not that kind of police, but a police system that polices everybody to make sure they don't discount the coin. And now it's almost impossible. Once we get on the new blockchain and the new wallet, it's going to be impossible to discount coin. You'll get caught immediately. Bam, you're gone. Your account's closed, and so will the person who bought it from you at a discount. They'll be gone, okay? We're dead serious about what we're doing. We've been here for 2 years, and this is the future, and we're going to be here 2 years from now. And in fact, 2 years from now, we'll be at 1 billion people, okay? We could be at 1 billion people in as little as 9 days, okay? But that's not going to happen in reality, but we could be there in 9 weeks. We could be there in 9 months, okay? We only need to double ourselves right now 9 times. 9 more times we'll be at 1 billion people. So if all 3 million of us, and not all 3 million are even still involved in us. So it's not going to happen just like that. But if all 3 million were active, let's put it that way, if they were all active, they went out and just gave the coin away, gave our gift away, which in euros, it was worth about, I don't know, a night or two ago, it's just under $1,000 US. In euros, a little bit less. Now it's like 2 point something times worth more come April 30th. Let me see what this little pop-up here says. Oh, okay, nothing. Okay, so what was I saying? The point is, we're controlling our system. We have control. That little tiny bit of control makes all the difference in the world. It makes our coin a solution rather than an option. Okay? It makes our money, Kringle, a solution to all financial problems in the world. And that's huge to even start to think about. But it's going to happen, with or without you. Okay? It's going to happen. Okay? So get involved. The sooner the better. Because the faster you get in, get going, and the more people you can bring in, quicker and faster. We're going to go first to 1 million billionaires, and then we're going to go to 1 billion millionaires. There'll be multimillionaires, there'll be multi-billionaires. The ones who have more can do more, can hire more people, can hire more of that 6.5 billion people that won't have any coins because they didn't find out about it or they didn't believe in it. You're always going to have non-believers, right? You're always going to have haters of anything new, okay? People who are just scared, frightened of the reality of what's going on in our current currency economic system. They don't want to know, hey, it's going to crash. Hey, what? My IRA is going to be worth nothing. Hey, what? They're going to take everything away? No, that's crazy. And yet, even though it's happened before, even though I know people, personal people, who lost their entire retirement fund and had to put their home on a reverse mortgage in order to survive until they died. And then they had nothing to give to pass on to their children because that reverse mortgage took it all. Oh, man, don't get me going. I'm pretty passionate about freedom. I'm passionate about truth. And money is freedom. Money, not currency. Money is freedom. It brings an incredible amount of freedom to the individual. In our community, we don't care who you are. Okay, we don't care what your religion is, what your race is, what your ideologies are. I mean, there's haters and lovers out there, right? But we are a community of people that are striving to take away slavery. We're all about freedom. Everybody wants freedom, don't they? So come and join us. Okay, there's nothing to be afraid of being a part of a community when its goal is something as incredibly good as the elimination of financial poverty in the world. We're still going to have the spiritually poor, okay, but we won't have financial poverty. Okay, let me see if there's anything else I want to talk about before I get go. I do want to, perhaps I'll do that tomorrow. I wanted to talk about cryptocurrency versus the elite system, the central banking system. If you want to hang on, I'm willing to go another 20 minutes. I would overlap. I don't know who I'm going to overlap. Maybe I won't overlap anybody. It doesn't really matter. But you guys can all, sign off. I'm sure you probably already have long ago. But those who are still listening and want to hear some more about the difference between crypto and the central banking system that we're on, the debt-based system that we've been on here in America since 1913, then I'm going to read off some of Dave's material over at X22, as he puts it together really well. He talks really fast, so I have to slow the video down. But I can read the closed captioning to you because it's very, very interesting. It's very educational. If you want to have a little lesson right now and learn something, okay, stay with me. Okay, so let's go over to
if you trade Forex, here's a secret. There may be a smarter way.
To that video. Okay. Let's go back here just a bit. This is so good. He just puts it into, what is it, like 17 minutes of dynamite information. Okay. All right, central bankers, let's see where it starts here. Okay, here's where it starts. Okay, it seems like the bankers, he starts out saying, seems like the central bankers, that would be the elite, are continually repeating their message about cryptocurrencies. They are so afraid of cryptocurrencies where the people start to realize what it is now. Like if we go back in time, remember the internet where they said, is this or is this not going to be used for anything? What do you do with it? And at that time when it was first being developed and people started to come online through AOL, remember AOL? And then eventually through DSL, then cable modems. But in the early stages, you couldn't really buy anything. You really couldn't do anything. You could search a couple of things, but there was no search engines or search capabilities except for Yahoo, which was the beginning stages of a search engine. And it was a directory. It didn't really go out and search different sites to bring back the information. You had to enter it manually. And people didn't realize what it was. And people kind of looked at it and said, I don't know what this is going to be used for, But today, you can see that people have phones. It's all connected to the internet. You can turn your lights on in your home from someplace else, and this is all passing through the internet. You can stream videos today. I mean, think about the things you can do today on the internet. Now, with cryptocurrency, the same thing that's happening in the beginning stages, where, yes, in the beginning stages, everyone was just getting into it. There was speculation. Let's get Bitcoin up there. Let's invest in this. It'll just keep going up. But eventually what's going to happen, and it's happening already, they're developing all different types of apps that will go along with the blockchain. And this is the very, very early stages. But the central bankers, they're out there in full force trying to keep people away. And every time they're trying to tell you something, it's always now the former CEO of Intuit said Bitcoin is the greatest scam in history and warned people not to fall for it. It's a colossal pump and dump scheme, he said. He said that. I'm tired of saying, be careful, it's speculative. Then be careful, it's gambling. Then be careful, it's a bubble. Okay, I'll say it, Bitcoin is a scam. He went on to say it's the job of the SEC and other regulators to protect ordinary investors from misleading and fraudulent schemes. It's time we gave them the legislative authority to do their job now. It's funny that they call this a pump and dump, because if we look at the stock market and we go back in time, how many times has the market been pumped and then dumped? Okay, it's hard to read this because I just want to start laughing. I want to laugh at how freaked out and scared the elite are at this point in history. We've never seen it like this. They've never seen it like this. They don't really know what to do. They cannot control the blockchain. They cannot control that type of encryption. Okay? It's freaking them out. They never saw it coming. Okay. I mean, think about this for a second. This just shouldn't happen once. It just didn't happen twice. It happened many times. Now, if I go back to around 1929 and we count, there's about 18 times where the market was pumped and then dumped. And this was a depression and recession each one of these times. And we're on what I think, and that's Dave talking, I think it's the 19th time where they've been pumping it up and they're going to dump it. So if they want to talk about a pump and dump scheme, they should be talking about the stock market and what the central banks are doing. And they're all doing this because they understand and they realize that cryptocurrencies is a completely different animal. It's not centralized. Actually, centralization is completely obsolete. The central bank is completely obsolete. And if we move in that direction, guess what? We don't need the banks. We don't need their payment systems. We don't need their Visa card with their charges, their MasterCard with their fees. We don't need bank accounts with their charges and fees. We don't need what they set up. This is what they're so afraid of. And this is why in every turn, you're going to hear them say that this is a scam. This is a bubble. This is no good. Stay away from cryptocurrency. I mean, think about what they've told us in the past. Just go back to 2008. And central bankers told us that we're not forecasting recession. These subprime securities, which were regulated, they're AAA. They turned out to be complete and utter garbage. So let's think about what they've been telling us in the past. And this way we can make a decision on, are they telling us the truth? Or do they have a motive behind the scenes? And I think, this is Dave talking, I think yes, they have a motive. They don't want the people of the world to wake up and see something completely different, a different system that does not include the central bankers. Oh my gosh. And again, you just don't push a button and Bitcoin appears. It takes a lot of time, a lot of processing to mine these coins, just like gold and silver. They both need equipment. You need to hone in on the gold. Oh, now there's a little ad pops up. Hang on. Okay. You need the equipment. You need to hold in on the gold. You need to extract it. That is mining. The same thing with cryptocurrencies. It takes a very long time just to get one coin. You don't push a button and it appears right in front of you. It's not digital currency like the banking coins like Ripple. I'm not even sure if Ethereum might be owned by banks. But I know Ripple is. Ripple's just, I don't think it's on a blockchain. It's just a digital coin. They can just like their fiat currency, they can just program their computer, push numbers, push a button, and make more of it. Okay? Okay, you guys like cryptocurrency? Well, here, we'll come out with a coin. Use our coin. It'll be easier to use because we're a bank. We've got the system already set up. Okay. So with cryptocurrency, real cryptocurrency created on a blockchain platform, it does not, you do not just push a button and it appears. Okay. It takes a lot of processing power compared to the central bank where they push buttons. And guess what? The funny money is created in 2 seconds. I'm sorry. Didn't take any type of labor, didn't take any type of mining, nothing there. And you can see that they're not going to give up. They're going to continually push this now. And the central banker they've experienced it with universal basic income. Oh, that's right, they did. Remember universal basic system or basic income, where they were going to come out and where they were thinking about, hey, why don't we just give everybody a certain amount of money every month so that nobody's poor? Oh, brother. Oh, brother. Okay. Okay, so Dave goes on and talks about this for a while. They set up an experiment in Finland. Okay, this is what he's going to talk about. And the government went ahead and say, okay, we're going to do a trial of a universal basic income, and we will give each person, and they did this test on about 2,000 people. Okay, about 2,000 people in Finland. They said, here's what we're going to do. We're going to give you $685 per month without requiring them to work. They didn't have to seek employment. It was just given to them. After their trial, which was a 2-year trial, the government rejected a request to extend the 2-year trial program. It didn't work. You know what the people did? They did absolutely nothing. It didn't help with unemployment, didn't help with purchasing, didn't help with anything. And they realized this, and the experiment failed. The International Monetary Fund is out there, and they are saying, listen, the global financial system is at risk. There's too much debt credit leverage, and we need to do something. And actually, when they say it means the government, okay, they need to push austerity on the people. And this is that developed nations, not the emerging markets. This is the developed nations to us. Oh, to US, I think is what he means. And the UK, Germany, and the rest of the nations, they want the governments to cut and to cut and to cut and push austerity on the people because they want their system to be alive and kicking. Because if they continue on this path, countries are going to start to default. And then people are going to point the finger at the central bank saying, wait a minute, you told us debt was good. Why are these countries defaulting right now? Why are they collapsing under the load of debt that you put them into? And we can see that they're very nervous about this now. Let me just bring this back to the United States. I'm talking here. Okay. You see maybe you don't see what's going on, but the central banking system is at a war with the White House. Plain and simple. We've got a new president in there that has nothing to do with them for the first time since Taft, okay, back in the early 1900s. Taft ran from 1908, I think, to 1912, his first term. And then he lost because of some manipulation by the central banking system because Taft would not pass the Federal Reserve Act. They didn't want him in there another 4 years. So they brought Teddy Roosevelt back and said, run against both of them. You'll pull enough votes that we hope Wilson will win. He's our man. And we'll pay you and you'll be set. And it worked. 3 days after Wilson took office, he signed the Federal Reserve Act and betrayed his whole country. Okay? Anybody can be bought. Well, most anybody can be bought. A real patriot can never be bought in any country. Okay, so what was I saying about this? Oh, this is what's important because it has to do with the narrative. You're talking there. Dave's talking about a crash here, okay, right? And if the crash happens, then people are going to start pointing fingers at each other. Okay. Now, what has the central banking system been doing? That will come out when we audit them. When Trump gets around to auditing them, and he will, because they're a private bank, they can be audited. Okay. So the bill I think has already been written. When he's ready, he'll send it through. It will be passed by Congress. And we're going to audit them, and then we're going to show the entire world what the central banking system has been doing all these decades. But they want to keep the narrative. So what they do, their agenda basically is to drive the debt in any country just to the breaking point. They don't want to crash it because then they will look like the bad guy. Just like Dave's saying here. They will look like the bad guy, and they'll point their fingers at the central banking system, and they're going to say, we don't want anything to do with you. Okay, so the central bank system will only bring it up to the edge of crashing, and then they'll bail everything out. They'll just make more money. Okay, we'll bail everybody out. We'll bail the banks out. We'll bail the insurance companies out. We'll bail whatever we need to bail out, and we'll keep it going. But they always keep you right there on the edge because that's how they control. Now, Trump and the Patriots know that's their system. So what do? We crash it. We crash the thing. We don't let it sit there on the edge. We're not trying to control the people. We're trying to free the people. So we got to bring it all the way down. And when we bring it all the way down, then whoever's controlling the narrative gets to point the finger at the other. And they're going to say, central banking system did it. If the central banking system does it, It just happens to happen that way, and they hang on to the narrative. They're going to point their finger at Trump and us patriots and say, you guys did it. You guys ruined it. You guys are the cause of this problem. This transition is going to be horrible for the poor people of the United States. Okay? And it will be under their control. Think it was bad in Venezuela? It can happen just like that here. Think it was bad in Greece when Greece had a bank holiday? It could happen here. Okay, so that's what is happening. So I always let everybody know the transition, there will be a transition. Okay, the goal is to have Trump and patriots in control of the narrative. Okay, and God willing, that's the way it's going to happen. Okay, so the transition will be soft. But I always tell people just to be smart, you know, because I grew up, I was a Boy Scout. We were taught, be prepared for anything and everything. So it's been drilled into me. And so I always tell people, have a little gold if you can. Have a little silver if you can. Have a little extra food if you can. Have a little extra water. Even have a little bit of fiat cash. Don't keep it all in the bank. If the bank closes and has a holiday, how are you going to get it? You need to take care of yourself every week. You're going to need money at that time, and then the system's still going to be on that money during the transition. If you don't have cash and the bank says, well, we'll let you take out $200-300 a week. You can't live on that. What are you going to do? So have some cash. And if you have more resources, then get a little bit more. You'll be able to help others. Okay? So that's all. No other need to freak out. If you need medicine, try to get a little bit ahead on your medicines. Okay, little things like that. Just take a look at your lives, what you're going through, and try to get there. There's going to be people that can't do anything about it. Okay, and so there has to be enough of us that have extra that we can do something to help them if it's a real bad transition. Okay, now, back to Dave. They're very nervous, okay, the central bankers. It goes, and if we look back in time, and we look at all the major currencies, and we go back to the 1900s, and we look at the mark, and the yen, and the pound, and you look at all of them, they all started out strong and 100%, and then all of a sudden, each one of these currencies started to lose value, and they all dropped to zero. If you look at the dollar, it has lost 97% of its value. All these other paper currencies lost their value over time. You know what stayed constant over all these years, thousands of years? Gold. Gold has stayed constant over this period of time as all other paper currencies declined in value. The central banking system does not work. There's no checks and balances. It doesn't work. Now, the system can work without a central bank if we're on the gold standard. A system can work if we're using cryptocurrencies. And the central bank doesn't have a hand in it. All these systems can work. It's the central bank that is the problem now. That is the problem. Now, Germany, they are rotating from the European Union. From the European Union. They're moving away from the US. And the majority of Germans, they don't want to have a conflict with Russia. Common sense, right? They want closer cooperation. And this is reflected in all recent opinion polls. And the leaders, Germany, they realize this. They understand that the people, sorry about the way I'm talking. They don't put periods on the end of sentences in closed captioning. They want to have closer relations, closer ties with Russia. Okay? Why? Because Russia is a good country, okay? Now think about what has been happening with Germany, with the European Union, with the US. Germany has opposed the US with Nord Stream gas pipeline bypassing Ukraine, Germany has thumbed its nose not only to the US, but also to the European Union. So they went ahead with the Nord Stream, and the US, that's the central banking system, that's the elite, it's not us, people, tried to stop them. And Germany said, absolutely not. Germany has been instrumental in assisting Russia to freeze the situation in Donbass in the Ukraine. And we see that Germany, well, they didn't get involved with the Scribble poisoning. They didn't back the UK. Claims that Russia poisoned Sergei and Yulia, crippled Germany. Well, guess what? They stayed out of the events in Syria. You know, the gas attack in Duma. Germany didn't immediately condemn. And when the unholy alliance decided on an attack, Germany did not participate. All of these events point to an easing away from the US, UK, EU, and they are moving closer to Russia and China because Russia and China are full of promise. They see economic growth there. They see the Silk Road. And Germany is looking to join the Silk Road. What's happening right now is the countries in Europe, when the US said we need to sanction Russia, most of the countries in Europe was that, okay, let's sanction Russia, and it hurt their economy. It didn't benefit them. Okay? I mean, I think Germany gets a humongous amount of gas from Russia. Okay, and now they're saying it is a mistake, and we can see that a lot of these countries, well, they're not joining in with the US anymore. We can see that with Syria, a lot of them saying we're not getting involved in this, Germany, Italy. And we can see there's a division right now, and a lot of these countries are going to be looking at Russia and China. This is the transition. This is how it begins. And of course, those in power, the deep state, they're always trying to do away with certain events or I messed it up here. One of those pop-up advertisings came in and messed up my closed caption. The deep state, they're always trying to pull them back. And the way they do this is with certain events and things to say. See, this is why you can't go to Russia. This is why you can't move to China. This is why you can't look in that direction. But we can see that the establishment, they're losing their grip. And a lot of these countries are going to be moving towards the east. And transition is happening right now. And it's going to accelerate as we move along here. And basically what's going to happen is as we transition, as the system comes down, just like the IMF says, there's just too much debt. And they know if nothing is done, the system implodes on itself. They are to blame because most of the countries are going to say, you were managing the system. What happened? You put us into this debt. We're holding a lot of debt. A lot of people weren't working. The economies weren't working as well. Then you're going to find out that a lot of numbers are manipulated. Then you're going to hear all about things they've been doing in the background that no one really knew about. It always comes out. Once everything starts to crash, just like the subprime securities, when everyone learned that they were not AAA anymore. They never were. They're garbage. That all of these corporations needed a bailout when they told us everything was contained, and eventually what happened is when everything starts to implode on itself, this is when you learn all of this, because in the beginning stages, they're able to cover it all up when it implodes, and everyone points the finger. People start to look into it, and all of a sudden you start to realize, hey, look what they've done here. They lied to us, and this time we need to hold the bankers and central bankers accountable. And this is why I think the move is going, and this is Dave talking, the move is going to be able to get, is going to be made to get rid of the central bank. They're going to push auditing. They're going to investigate when everything is said and done. They're going to make their move because they need to cut off the funding to the establishment, the deep state. This is the only way to completely stop them, is to go after the funding and to go after what has been basically the enslavement of the people of the world. Now, I posted on Facebook, I've talked about it, about the wall that's going up and the National Guard that's been sent out to the Arizona border. California is resisting, but the wall, but the border there in California and Arizona is so wide open and so owned by the deep state that that is the border they use to do their drug dealings, do their gun running, and do their human trafficking, to fund themselves. Okay? So that's why we're starting there. That's why Trump and Patriots are starting there. That's why California is resisting so much. Not the people, but the very, very evil deep state that controls the government of California. Okay? Okay, back to what Dave is saying. Because what they've done was, if they made us work as much as we possibly can, while the rest of the currencies around the world continually decline, which means you have to work even harder just to get by. And you have to keep doing this. And as the value of the dollar keeps decreasing, you have to continually work harder and harder and harder. Now people who are coming into the system, and these are the younger generation, okay, the millennials, okay, they are realizing, wow, this economy is very tough. There's no jobs. Houses are too expensive. Everything is too much. And everything is a payment. And this is why many of the individuals are living with their parents. Those individuals, the older generation, they started out with the fight system in the fiat system in the beginning. They're not really realizing this because they were on the upside. We're now on the downside, and they've already made their money, even though it's losing value. See, those who are about to go into retirement or going into retirement, we've made our money, right? But it's the value of it is going down like crazy. They don't realize it until they retire. And then once they're on a fixed income and everything continually rises in price, which means the dollar values, then they start to realize it. And then they say, oh, we have to get another job just to make ends meet, because I can't afford the rent. I can't afford the food. I can't afford anything because the income, my income is now fixed because I'm retired. Now that's when they realize it, especially they'll realize it when they're not getting their pensions. Instead of 100% of the pensions, they may be only getting 60%, 50%, 40% of the pension. This is the end game, that we are watching wages are decreasing. Countries are transitioning over to the East, moving away from the dollar. And this is going to put us in a situation where it's going to be very difficult for many people. And when we go through this transition, just like we came on to the petrodollar, you're going to see bumps in the road. And these bumps are going to be a lot larger than when we went into the petrodollar, because we have a huge amount of debt. Okay, we didn't have that huge debt back in 1971. And the value of the dollars decreased so much, and there's nothing really backing it anymore. And countries are going to get wind of this, and they're going to start dumping it like crazy. And this is when things start to go really, really badly for pretty much everybody except those who are prepared to protect their wealth. And gold, silver, cryptocurrencies, having food, water supplies, because when inflation hits, Guess what you won't be able to afford? The food or the supplies out there. This is why you need to have the supplies in-house for a time being. This is why any gold, silver to protect your wealth. This is why any cryptocurrencies, because most likely we'll be trading in cryptocurrencies before anything else, meaning we'll be using it as transaction. We'll be transacting with cryptocurrency more than we would transact with gold or silver, right? So it makes especially sense to get into cryptocurrency. And that's why we're doing these videos every day to get the word out that our coin, the billion coin, the Kringle coin, is a solution. It's not an option, it's a solution. Yes, gold and silver is a solution, but you've got to have enough of it on hand and hope that somebody doesn't come and rob you of it, right? And you got to carry it around with you if you're going to use it to transact as actual money. Cryptocurrency is completely different. Nobody can steal it from you. Okay, it's just a whole lot easier to use, and it makes a whole lot of sense. And if the cryptocurrency is abundant space like the Kringle coin is, then that's a solution. Right there, it's a solution. Okay. Okay, anything else? So get prepared, get ready to transition. It's happening right now. Okay. And then he basically ends. But again, people, I know some of you may have heard this stuff in the past. Oh, the world's going to end. Be prepared. Blah, 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 blah. I'm not anything like that, okay? The world isn't going to end, okay, anytime soon, okay? People, especially people that are Christians, and they believe in the book of Revelations, they believe in the end times, they believe that Jesus Christ is coming back and all hell has to break loose before. Here's the reality of it. Okay, yeah, it's going to happen, okay, eventually, but nobody knows the time. So what does he tell us in Revelations? Those who are awake, those who have their eyes open, those who can hear, we're going to have an idea of it though. But we take the book literally. We don't take the book spiritually like we're supposed to. Even though, like I said yesterday, it's in the very first verse of that book of Revelation that the entire Revelation is in signs. It's spiritual. Don't take anything literally. Okay, so people, and if you're familiar with Paul's books in the New Testament, and you see all the other books, they were talking back then. People were thinking, "Oh, the world is coming to an end." Back there in the first generation, second generation, okay, already before 100 A.D., they were thinking Christ was returning. He had to. The world was falling apart. Now, every generation since then, for 2,000 years, every single generation of Christians at least, have thought and absolutely believed that Jesus Christ's second coming was coming in their lifetime. Okay? I heard it when I was a little kid from my grandparents. I heard it from my parents. Okay? Oh, the year 2000, that's it. That's when Christ is coming. We figured it out. How many people have made money writing books about the coming end, and it hasn't happened? Okay? It may not happen for 2, 3, 4 more hundred years, 2, 3, 4 more thousand years. We don't know. But guess what? Every single generation of us thinks it's happening in our lifetimes. You can talk to people today, and they're going to tell you it's happening. Christ is coming. It's going to happen in my lifetime. They'll swear it. Okay? I'm not talking about that kind of stuff. I'm talking about just common sense. Look around, see what's happening. Look at the world, see what's happening with the currency system. See what has happened in our past. History repeats itself. If we don't do something to change it, it's going to repeat itself. Okay? We're doing something to change this part of our history right now. Patriots and Trump are doing something to change it. We're going to change that monetary system, that economic system. Okay? God willing, of course. But in the meantime, there's always going to be things happening in the world, disasters, always has been. It doesn't mean at the end of times. Doesn't mean anything. Okay? Because it's all spiritual. If you don't understand the spiritual aspect of the book of Revelation, you're not going to get it. You're not going to see it. You're not going to know it. You think you are, but you're not. It's just that simple. Sorry I had to be the one to tell you. But I shouldn't have to tell you, because it's evident by just looking around and seeing what all the people have believed since 100 AD, that Christ is coming back in their lifetime, and he hasn't. It doesn't mean he's not going to. But you know, I talk to people all the time about it, and they say, well, you know, I understand that he hasn't come back, and I understand, you know, my great grandfather believed in it, and it was going to happen in his time. But you know what, Paul? Look around, man. It's bad. It's got to happen now. Okay, that's the way my parents were. Okay, that's the way my mom was. You know, she was 100% convinced. Okay, which is fine. You know, it didn't really hurt anything, not too much, but a little bit, because Paul says, hey, don't be wasting your time with this or that. Don't be running out in the desert looking for Jesus. Don't be caught up in all this and not living your life and helping your fellow man and pushing forward and having faith in God. Okay, fear is the opposite of faith. Okay, all right, that's the end of my preaching. I always get going with preaching. Anyway, that's the end of my thing here. It's 6:30-ish, going on 6:30. So I've been on an hour and a half. I wanted to get that across from Dave over at X22. If you want to go look him up on YouTube and watch his videos, he does 1 or 2 every day. And he'll keep you informed, you know, pretty up to date. He gets his information from solid sources. So if I need something quick to get my current information up, there's 6 or 7 sources I use. And 10, 15 minutes for each one, bam, 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 and I'm right up to date for the day. Okay, so not that I can remember what yesterday's was or the day before, because I have a horrible short-term memory. But, you know, it's available for me. It's there. I get it into my brain, and I can talk a little bit about it, and slowly I learn, and some of it sticks. And so it all comes together with the billion coin, our Kringle coin, and what it is. It is a solution, friends. It is a solution to all of our economic problems, all of our political problems, all of the wars in the world that are caused by this made-up scarcity and lack, so that they can feed their war machine, make money, and control the people, and strip those countries of their resources and give it to themselves. Strip them of their diamonds, strip them of their gold, strip them of their silver, strip them of their platinum. You can't strip anybody from cryptocurrency. You get it? You can't strip anybody of cryptocurrency. So get involved and learn. Thanks for any of you. Even if one listened to this all the way to the end, thank you. And please subscribe and click the thumbs up button. It really helps. And that way we're able to get more viewers to educate them. I'm not asking you for any money, am I? Yeah, there's a way we can help you for very small amounts of money, or even free. If you're willing to give the gift away, we will reward you. Our job is not to make fiat currency with our billion coin. Our job and our desire is to create an economy using the Kringle coin, okay, as money, because that's what it is. And in order to do that, we need it in the hands of a very large amount of people, and enough people that people trust it, can accept it, and use it. And that's where we're going. With this new blockchain platform, that's where we're going. Okay? So thank you, guys. Saturday night, go have fun. I'll be here. I'm already set for tomorrow, 5 o'clock Sunday. Okay. Hopefully it'll be another beautiful day. I think it will be. There is some clouds coming this week if you're heading to Las Vegas. It's going to be some clouds, but it will be dropping the temperatures. We've had it in the low 90s and high 80s for last week. It's going to go drop down to the low 70s in about 4 or 5 days. So that'll be a little bit of break as the heat can get kind of crazy here. Okay. Thanks guys for listening. Enjoy. Take care. Be safe. Love you all. And I'll see you on the next video.